Good evening. My name, as she stated, is Samar Hersh-Toubia, and I was 10 days old when I was first adopted. Now, when most people hear of this topic of adoption, they don't know what to say, what is acceptable to say, what is all right to say, not to insult the other person. And it's quite understandable. This is not a topic that is often talked about among different people. It is something that is hushed. There are no social rules. Now, me personally, and many of the adopted children that I myself have met, we are not afraid to speak up about this, because it to us is not something that should be shamed. Thank you. Now, when many people find out that I'm open about the topic, especially my friends, they start to ask me questions. Questions such as, if you ever had the opportunity, would you go out and find your family? My answer to you, which I'm going to state right now, is no. Because I have a family right here. My family might not be related to me by blood, but they're the same people that have brought me up since I was a kid. They've lifted me up when I fell down, and that have encouraged me and smacked me on the back of the head when my ego has gotten too big. And those bonds that I've created with all those different people, in all the 3 countries that I've lived in New York, in London, and here in Sudan, are much stronger than any ties of blood that I could ever have to anybody out there. When I lived in New York, and I found something out a little later in life, though, that not only in New York, but in America, they celebrate adoption by dedicating a whole month to adopted children. And that month is November, of course. Yeah, it's November. And on the 23rd of that month is the National Adoption Day. That is how America celebrates the fact that children have been able to go out and get their own home. Now, in London, it's similar. They have a community of parents and adopted children, and they just have parties and little picnics and things like that, just so the kids can go around and play with each other, just so they can see that they are not alone out there, that being adopted is not something that is weird, is not something that people should frown upon, and that they are not alone. There are hundreds of people in the vicinity just like them. Now, thank you. In Sudan, it's a little different. In Sudan, I know of many children in this country who have been adopted, but it's not spoken about. There's a silence, and a silence that needs to be broken. Because Sudan has some of the best adoption laws in the whole of the Arab nation, and that is something that needs to be celebrated and needs to be looked upon. Thank you. Now, I myself would just like to state that people here in Sudan, people who want to adopt children from Sudan, I've heard them question. They've said things like, would I be a good enough parent to adopt? Let me state first off to all those parents out there who are thinking that, if you are there thinking, questioning yourself whether or not you would be a good parent, you already are an amazing parent, because you're there thinking about the child, even if you don't have that child yet. And to all those children out there, especially the ones here in Sudan, and the ones who are hushed, the ones who are quietened because they feel like it's something that they should be ashamed of, for all those children who might feel, I myself, my birth was an accident. Why should I go and make that a voice to everyone? Yes, you might feel like your birth in and of itself was an accident, but the people who adopted you, the people who brought you into their home, that was no accident, and you were a wanted child. Now, I would like to just thank my friends for supporting me a lot. would just like to conclude my speech by saying, as you heard, most of the people who started those claps, I swear to God, they're my friends, and you can see already how close they are to me, and those are the kinds of bonds that I've created with them. I myself do not feel insecure about having no blood ties because I myself am this close with the people around me. Now, I would just like to tell you that if you ever are thinking of adopting a child, or if you are worried that your child might feel alienated, then bring them to Sudan because it's a wonderful place to live in. Yeah. So I'd like to just say lastly and finally, there are so many with the amount of adopted children, hundreds of them in Sudan, and with the best adoption laws that we have here in Sudan, I think that one day Sudan should be able to express happiness in these trait qualities of its own. Happiness like America has a month and a day, like how people in England gather the children together just to show that there's more out there. And I hope that one day, just one day, can be a couple of decades from now, people will rise up and will say, I'm not afraid to say that I myself am an adopted child or that my parents have adopted children. Thank you.